Hello and welcome to another episode of NostalgiaCraft, and the music is kind of loud right now, so I'm gonna lower the overall volume again, and that should be fine enough. Yeah. Couple of things as usual that have happened off screen. When I finished the recording for the last video, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do a bit of organizing, put some stuff in chests, smelt some ores that we got, and I got a bunch more, did some crushing, and then a vampire baron showed up and I killed it, but it made me a vampire. Wasn't my intention, but here we are. If I mean, the cool part is that I get night vision, which was excellent, because that means I can stop giving a fuck about these goddamn torches, until we switch over to the next version, which is lovely. I also have blood vision, so the gray means that's a mob without blood. For example, why don't like these hunters or whatever have blood? Whatever, doesn't matter. But yeah, that's what's happened here, and Icy Bunny has left a little present for me. We got poison spines, blood, and carrots. Because of course, we can no longer eat normal food, we require blood. I did find some blood. There's like a vampire mansion or something over in that direction. There were horses. I sucked a horse and survived. So, what's the carrot for? I'm not quite sure. Because I definitely can't eat that, but whatever. I'm currently recording this on Saturday, the reason being that I won't be able to record much of anything during next week as I'm preparing for a con, and then I won't be able to upload it myself manually next weekend because I will be at the convention. So I'm just preparing these beforehand. Plus, I haven't done any of the creepy trader stuff, and I want to do that today, as I'm also going to be talking about Creepypasta, conveniently enough. That happens to be a perfect topic, well, for the sake of nostalgia, for the sake of what is actually happening on the server currently, and also just on a personal level for myself, as I will elaborate on. Now, we need to make our way over to the village, and while we do that... Oh, by the way, I should probably also leave this petroleum. Yeah, petroleum. Icy Bunny did message me saying that there was, like, a ghost, like an immortal ghost somewhere in my area, but I assume it's despawned. But it's good to know that there are immortal ghosts in the game now. That's another great mod that I'm happy to be aware of. So many weird sounds, and I don't know what's making them. Could be a ghost, frankly. Where was I? Right at the beginning, I suppose. If we're talking about Creepypasta, I think it's worth mentioning about the first time I remember encountering Creepypasta. For starters, Creepypasta itself, as a term... I'm going the wrong way again. Was it F? I think F was my suck blood button. No? No, it's, no, that's not it. What did I forget what I set my blood-sucking button to. Equals. Oh, right. Yep. Anyway. The way I remember encountering Creepypasta for the first time relates to the name itself, because Creepypasta is of course just originally a variation of copypasta, meaning something a pre-written text you would just copy and paste across the internet. In the case of Creepypasta, of course, what made it different from general Creepypasta was that it was creepy, it was supposed to be horror. a lot of it was absolutely terrible. Jeff the Killer remains, of course, the most amazing piece of literature ever written. But besides that, yeah, it was all pretty rough. What country is this? But the way I encountered it at first was, and this is also quite the trip to think about, because of the butterfly effect all of this had. It was in 2000, insert year here, that Google bought YouTube. And, you know, there was a bunch of changes. There was the Google Plus integration. I remember there was this rapper, this channel that made a rap parody. And I for the life of me, I can't find the channel. I can't find a rap parody. It was a very minuscule chance anyone would know, but it was a channel run by these two dudes going by Club and Seal. And they did a Google Plus this rap, and yeah, the people weren't fans of changes. One of the big changes, however, was that comments no longer had a limit on character amount. You just had the read more button implemented, which now seems like it's normal, it's fine, but back then, people definitely abused it a lot. I guess I can still bite people. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, they abused it a lot by making ridiculously long comments. There was the meme going around of having that one stick dude passed around the comment sections on YouTube as a sort of protest, a really, really dumb protest, of course. Should probably remove this chest at some point. And there's the creepy portal. I don't know what's really about. But yeah, that was the big change, and that is the first time I remember encountering Creepypasta for the first time, was in the YouTube comment section, but I genuinely can't remember what was the first one I saw. I know it was not Jeff the Killer. It was not Jeff the Killer. It was a later point that I saw it and went, oh my god, that is actually Jeff the Killer? Like, come to think of it, it might not have been the creepypastas itself that I saw first. It might have been links in the comments to pictures and like the jump scare sites for Jeff the Killer, and that's how I discovered it at the first time. Okay. Creepy collectors in town, trade items, please only trade one of each. All sales are final. Okay. So we need Jeff's knife, which... Okay, I'm just gonna be checking if we can get any of these, or we need to craft them or whatever, while I speak, but... I then, what? Maybe... Like a beetle larva. What else? But because of this, I started to get into Creepypasta, and as I was getting into Creepypasta, I ended up quite into it, and I would watch a bunch of people on YouTube like doing the Creepypasta readings. I don't remember most of them. I do know for a fact that one of the very first ones I watched, like listened to and heard the analysis from, was Some Ordinary Gamers, Mudahar, but how do you make the cards? But the way that led me down further was that I was like, I really want to write some Creepypasta stuff, I don't know where to start, and I was starting to get slightly into like online roleplay stuff. And so I got curious, looked up Creepypasta roleplay, found a Chatsy room that was the first ever, or rather the first result on Google, joined in, and from there it's insane, frankly, how the butterfly effect went. Because, if I'm being completely honest, I was only really super into Creepypasta for maybe a week, and I'm actually not even exaggerating here. It might have been just for like a week, and during that week I got into this roleplay, and despite the fact that I stopped really caring that deeply for Creepypasta and, occasionally would watch one of these videos, wouldn't really read anything because most of it was bad, and I would spend more time mocking creepypastas than I did actually genuinely reading them or listening to readings of them. But I stuck around in this chat room, and I got really into writing. I was into creative writing before as a child. I wanted to be a writer, and genuinely a good portion of why I wanted to, I keep going back further now, but a big reason of why I wanted to be a writer was because of Castle, the TV show. I still like that show. Haven't watched it in ages, but it's still quite an important show for my little old heart. And yeah, so I wanted to be a writer, but that sort of cemented my from that point on, I actually started to sort of take it seriously, started to improve my writing, but there are paste bin documents at from the time when I was in this roleplay, which I looked at back on now and just suffer horribly. I think if there's any kind of subscriber goal that I'm going to have on the second channel, that's going to be one of them, where I actually go through and read some of the terrible old creepypasta / whatever else writing that I did at the time. I mean, there are some things from that period that I still enjoy. These were some of the first characters I ever properly wrote, and I still have a soft spot in my heart for those characters, but I also recognize that it just wasn't good. It just was not good. And also, I'm kind of noticing that night vision isn't doing anything. Why? Why? Just why? I have a soft spot for these characters, and so it's all still very important to me. These were the first characters I ever made, and I still to this day want to do something with them. I want to try and rework the nonsense I wrote in that roleplay into some kind of coherent narrative, which is something I actually tried to do while I was still there. I ended up being one of the main people actually driving the lore at a point in time when the roleplay servers started to shift away from just being creepypasta to being just a general roleplay channel set in this place called Erelon. But here's where some positivity and levity starts to drop, because one particular thing about that is that when I'm just gonna go sleep real quick. I was there when I was a teenager, and there were, of course, a lot of... This was a point in time where I feel like more than any other, it was warranted for adults to like warn kids about stranger danger on the internet, because yeah, there were a lot of unmoderated and vaguely moderated chat rooms. The chatsy was just terrible. It was a terribly built, terrible site in every single way, and yet it was our main means of, communicating and doing this roleplay thing. In fact, for a very, very long time, until the chatsy server itself started dying, and then as people started to move to Discord. Until that point, it was exclusively on Chatsy. At some point, it was a premium room, and eventually it became just a regular room. And it was that point that it was officially really dying. But it was quite active at one point, and like I said, it was the #1 result if you looked up Creepypasta roleplay on just Google. What the heck is this? What was that? Alright. Oh! I'm fine. Ow. I'm quite fine. I'm quite alright. But where I was going with this was that one of the main people behind shifting away from just Creepypasta to Erelon, one of them was a cool person that, you know, I hope they're doing well. I think I'm still friends with them on Steam, but I haven't messaged them ever. You know, but the other person was, at the time I thought this was a cool person because this was an adult who treated me also like an adult, but in hindsight that's not something an adult should do, even in an online environment. He was definitely too, like, brazen and also very weird and uncomfortable in a chat room full of teenagers and kids, because that was the main thing, like, that was the main, that was the core of the community, rather. There was a lot of just teenagers, because of course there was. This was a creepypasta roleplay, what else are you going to expect there? And I was part of that, right? And then later came out, well, there's actually quite an interesting story to be told here. After this video is over, because I've just remembered, or rather I've forgotten the name of this one site where you could make these little games, like platformer games and whatever else. I need to try and remember it. Maybe ask on the Discord if anyone remembers what that site is. But there was a troll on this site that for some reason, quote-unquote, ran off, and I don't even fully understand how that made any sense at the time. But it was this troll that went from being just on this site to somehow being linked to the creepypasta later on Erelon roleplay. And this person came to be known as Blank. They were known as Blank because of Chatsy's many wonderful and totally not experience-ruining quirks. So I'm just distracting myself so much. I need to make sticks, I need to make torches. That's what I did all that for. The Chatsy had many wonderful quirks, including that if you obviously added like one little invisible symbol to your username, you could have an effectively blank username. Which people would be unable to click on, meaning that if you hid your username or went offline in the members list on the sidebar, that meant you were effectively impossible to be banned. And and the other quirk being, of course, that if you were banned, that meant absolutely nothing, because Chatsy just didn't function very well in that regard. I'm gonna go make a bucket and get some water, because I need obsidian. I think there is obsidian down there, and 99% sure there is, but I might as well get the bucket at some point anyway. Water could be useful as well. And the other quirk, the third quirk, I guess, is that if you can, using the blank symbol, you could steal people's usernames. You could have people just take other people's names and just chill with them or pretend to be them, and nobody would know any better. The reason, of course, Blank got this name is that he abused this like quirk in Chatsy, and he would also take people's names and just sort of idle with them and pretend, not quite fully pretend to be them, because people started to recognize that it's, oh, this is just Blank. Like, they started to recognize that pretty early on. And people were trying to ban him at first, but they eventually gave up after he kept, like, clearing the page by spamming out these symbols, because that's another thing you could very easily do on Chatsy. So eventually there was just like this symbiosis that people accepted, that it was actually just, we're just gonna let Blank be here, he's just gonna slightly bully people, but what the hell are you gonna do about it, right? We you know, kind of sort of a moment where the mods just gave up, and from that point on, Blank became a sort of permanent fixture on the server. Thing about that was that one of his favorite things to do was to mock people for doing shitty roleplay, but he also kind of gave credit to people that did pretty decently. And there was a point in time when I was like, oh shit, freaking Blank likes my roleplays. I guess I'm really good at whatever. No. I'm gonna say no for two reasons. One, Blank was just an asshole and did not have any authority to make judgments like that, whether or not anything you wrote was worth the pixels on the screen that you wrote them with, and like, two, I know for a fact that I know for a fact that what I wrote was garbage. It was doo-doo stank. So to get praise from him meant absolutely nothing, even at the time. But with hindsight, it's like, dude, why? Why did you even give any sort of praise to that, right? Because it was terrible. You know, he was still like, oh, for frick's sake. He was still the sort of best-known troll on the server, and the most long-running troll, and well, in parallel, we have this other this mod, this grown-ass man who would say some weird shit, post like uncomfortable stuff around teenagers on the chats, and eventually, even though he was part of the admin/mod team, the other mods were starting to get fucking sick of him, but he still sort of had too much control to completely get rid of. That said, you know, there were a lot of people that would get regularly banned because they were, well, shitheads. It was sort of a Wild West time for a roleplay like this, and people came on and they just caused problems, and so that a lot of times people just got banned fairly easily, but very rarely was it unwarranted. This guy, however, this admin, decided that he should contact, like, DM every single person that got banned and offer them to join an alternative server, which became just a complete cesspool where roleplay didn't quite happen. It was mostly just harassment of them just harassing each other and planning to raid and harass the main server, and somehow, I don't know why, people just let that slip as well for this man. And you know, the weirdest part was, of course, that Blank also joined this server and just sort of hung out in it, and nobody could really tell why he was doing that. Maybe he just enjoyed seeing the chaos or whatever. Ooh, how dramatic. What I'm building up towards here is a very, kind of an almost obvious reveal by how I've been phrasing and insinuating things in this story. I already forgot. Like, oh, like that. Okay. Which is the mod and this Blank person were the same fucking guy. and he would like have fake conversations with himself. He would give props to himself often. It's not gonna give me... I was kind of hoping it would give me health or blood, because I used the vampire blade, but it didn't do that. Okay. Well. Yeah, and it's just very strange, and he only got fully told off and fully fucked off after the switch to the after the switch to the Discord, but sadly the Discord isn't really alive anymore either. And I don't know, it's strange to think about, certainly. It's strange to think about how this was a pretty massive part of my life growing up, how this is how I got into roleplay, which in turn is how I ended up writing certain things, writing certain stories, getting into certain friend groups, and I could probably track down so many aspects of who I am as a person and where I am in my life to just joining this... What happened to my skin? What? What is this? Oh, I think being a vampire messed up my skin? That's gross. Let's just cover that up again. Let's not look at that ever again. But yeah, I could trace so much back to this terrible, stupid roleplay thing, and it's quite wild to me. And yet here we are. Okay, now I've made the vampiric blade. I hope it actually... I currently hope that it doesn't require it to be at full, like, full bar or full durability. That's the word. That is the word that I needed to say there. Because I mean, I wanted to try it out. I have the option to make more of these. Oh, but rather not. Then I need to kill some vampires in order to get their tooths for making the leech sword. But hey, look at this, I'm about to trade in something to the creepy trader. I hope Anna's proud of me. I've actually taken part in the events. Forgot where the thing is. It's over here? It's over here. Okay. I should also look up how do I make these blood bottles. That would be good. I'm just gonna give you this. Hey. Is it just me, or is that kind of anticlimactic? Okay, it's fine. We're fine. I suppose I can quickly take a gander at the portal there. I think next time I'm going to be talking about a bit more about the other... Oh, the lag. Where is that coming from? Can it stop though? Can it stop though? Drink some blood. Glug glug, dude. Glug glug. Alongside Creepypasta, the other thing that's really shaped who I am, probably, and definitely still something I'm super into, is SCP stuff. And I'm quite into the lore, especially Sarkite lore. But that's another thing that I got into. Well, first through watching some people play Secret Laboratory, and oh, okay, alright. But then I got into like reading the articles and so on and so forth, and then once again, because it was something that I got interested in when I was a teenager, that proceeded to be something I got into a roleplay for, which was called like Origins, which was about the early days of the SCP Foundation. And from then on, that actually slightly predates the interest I had in Creepypasta, or at least it predates me joining here's the thing, my first exposure, I probably didn't make it clear, but my first exposure to Creepypasta in the Google, in the comments on YouTube after the Google purchase was not the same as me just getting so into Creepypasta that I would join the roleplay group. That did happen like quite some time later. In between that, I also was when I got into SCP stuff. Do I need a shovel? That's weird. That's when I got into SCP stuff, and yeah, that I joined the roleplay for that first, which was my first go at something like that more earnestly. There was one more case that I do actually want to talk about as well at some point. What is this? There's ore. There's an ant. Sir? Hello? Is orichalcum enough to break that? I don't know. It's weird. Oh, orichalcum is enough to get this at least. Oh, it's just quartz. This is just lapis? This is just gold. Oh, I read. I need this for an umber furnace. I don't know what an umber furnace does, but I do want one. Oh man, I got distracted again, as I always do. Oh, there's the caves. Where are you? Iron? Iron. Alright. But yeah, got into that first and that sort of, that was my first go at writing. There was some stuff that predated that, which I do want to talk about before, which is, there was this, flash, oh man, you know what, no, I'm saving that for next episode when I'm going to be talking about, SCP stuff, and I'm going to be talking about, well, I will say, I'm talking about, Twinoids, forums, and Die Tonight, if anyone remembers that. For now, I'll be ending the video here, and next time we'll be exploring this little funky dimension more, but I don't know when that will be happening, so until then, bye.